What if we imagine being a 6-year-old girl taken away from her father and brother and left to work and starve with her mom in a concentration camp? Now, in a similar case scenario, what would you tell to your daughter? Would you tell her that the Nazis animalized and blamed her for being Jewish, or that in their mentality, the only valid or supreme faith was theirs? Cultural supremacy has always been present in societies. During imperialism, not only did European supremacy affect American natives, but African peoples as well. As a result of the Counter-Reformation's damage to the Catholic Church, the Crusades were based in an intolerance with the young America, as they saw it. Missionaries built churches and installed a mandatory regime in which natives were seen as ignorant and void of beliefs. Then again, during the World War II, 6 million Jews suffered the consequences of a German social and economic crisis, in which authorities found it easier to blame minorities, such as LGBTQIAs, Muslims, Romanis, and Jews, who did not have political power to defend themselves anymore. Violence did not seize the problem in any case, not even in the Holocaust. It just created a bigger one. And nowadays, increasing violence is not the right way to fight terrorism, because it just increases and creates a vicious cycle of massive hatred among both sides. In the past decades, the rise of extremist groups and the increased importance of media made the world go through a chaotic phase. For a significant part of media used its resources to blame the Islamic culture as a whole for terrorist events. A threatened and xenophobic society eventually emerged. And when a media coverage shows the people as one thing, only one thing, over and over again, that is what they become. Because in an angry environment, people as a complementary behavior will tend to react likewise. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, an African novelist, once pointed that if people only hear a single story about a person or country, they risk having a misleading general assumption, turning that person's or country's worth to what people assume of them. According to Chimamanda, the problem with stereotypes is not that they're untrue, but they're incomplete. They make one story a single story. But how can we use our power to end this dangerous system of stereotyping and discriminating minorities when things get bad? There is obviously not a single answer to that. However, a diverse educational platform can help people understand that the Islamic culture does not prize terrorist behavior, like some groups do. And if a person has a simplified knowledge about a culture, especially seeing so many news about that culture's extremists, they might logically relate that chain into being the whole culture itself. This is in France, and in 2013, France's government claimed that from all the complaints concerning religious prejudice to Muslims, a majority came from women. That is because women in Islamism usually wear the burqa. This icon, this religious icon, represents a diversity some are still not ready for. This is Alan. Alan and Torleif are two policemen in a small town in Denmark, where a lot of young black Muslims were constantly being attacked and harassed by police and civilians. They thought that racism and segregation were not the proper approach to deal with those teens, who everyone was avoiding. Their goal was to fight the consequences of Denmark's prejudicial system, in which authorities, because of threat, harmed their society by imposing stereotypes and not even bothering to learn or teach Islamic beliefs. These policemen had a non-complementary behavior in a situation where hostility was expected to happen with Muslims. So an education that values diversity can positively interfere in the lives of those Muslims who deal with disrespect, intolerance, and a lack of self-identification in their country. A biased educational system can incentive ignorance, which can blindly perpetuate stereotypes and therefore create a cycle of hateful treatments towards minorities. And diversity is too good to be undermined like that. And just a little last thing, we should not expect black Muslims to be terrorists. And by that, I do not mean that our country shouldn't have safe and certain policies to take care of its population. I just mean that we should not let a xenophobic and patronizing story become their only story. And never underestimate your ability to change. Thank you.